Hey, what is up, guys? So I wanted to make this video because we're constantly seeing these rappers. An example is DDG. Another example is Roddy Ricch still being caught with illegal firearms. Still getting charged with being in possession, unlawful possession of a firearm. So I wanted to make this video to ask you guys, had you been a rapper, would you protect yourself legally? Would you put it in the budget to spend the money to hire the security, to protect your interests, to protect your jewelry as you travel from state to state, as you attend these events? Or would you take the legal route and have your homie carrying a firearm for you, having a shooter, or carrying an illegal firearm yourself? So with the Roddy Ricch case, apparently he was traveling to the governor's ball over in New York. New York being a very strict about gun laws. As everyone knows, they put Lil Wayne in prison for a year while he was at the peak of his career. So he's traveling. Somehow they go through the security area to the governor's ball, but somehow the police ends up searching their vehicle. When they search their vehicle, they find a firearm and they find ammunition. Roddy Ricch ends up catching a bunch of charges for that firearm. However, eventually those charges were dropped. Those charges were likely dropped, in my opinion, because they never had a right to search that vehicle in the first place, right? The Queens District Attorney's Office informed everyone that those charges have been dropped. But in my opinion, there was no probable cause that would have stood up in front of any judge to why they had the right to search that vehicle in the first place. So considering that situation, considering DDG being caught catching a felony for carrying a firearm unlawfully, what would you guys do had you been a successful rapper? Had you been a successful celebrity? Would you also take the illegal route? Would you protect yourself illegally? Would you carry a firearm illegally? Would you have your homie carrying a firearm illegally? Or would you take the legal route and just handle the expense of hiring professional security everywhere you go? Them having the right in some instances to actually carry firearms themselves, ex-police officers or other forms of ex-military, people like that. Or would you get a license to carry a firearm? Because I've never heard of DDG having felonies, so he probably has the ability to get a license to carry that firearm. So would you go that route and try to get a license to carry that firearm if you live in a state where you need it? Or would you just have your homie carrying it illegally? Would you have your shooter from your neighborhood or whoever you grew up with who's willing to take that risk, carrying that firearm for you? Would you put more faith into that person than you would actual private security who is legally allowed to carry that firearm? As we know throughout history, for example, the Triple X Tentacion situation, it's a wise idea for these rappers, especially rolling around with money, rolling around with jewelry, to have professional security around them at all times. But a lot of rappers choose to, go the other route. They choose to carry an illegal firearm on their person themselves, or they choose to have a homie carrying an illegal firearm for them. Let me know what you guys would do, because I'm curious to know how you guys think about it. Would you handle the expense? Would you ask the label to handle the expense of of basically hiring security for you, because part of your image is wearing that expensive jewelry, is driving around in those fancy cars? That helps your career and helps boost your career, and it's your own marketing and advertising. So you should honestly ask the label to handle some of that expense on your behalf, because it's part of the whole image that brings in the fans, that makes the money. So what would you guys do? Have professional security, have them carrying firearms legally, or would you go the legal route and possibly face charges and the same consequences that so many other rappers constantly face. Let me know what you guys think. Please subscribe so we can, discuss these things. I want to hear your opinions in the comments. Peace.